English Luka Modric? The new Bobby Moore? Stop weighing our kids down with comparisons and let them grow. You're going to hear a lot about James Maddison over the coming months, and rightly so. The 21-year-old Leicester midfielder looks a real prospect. He's clever, brave, has great touch and vision, loves to get forward and has a decent shot on him, as his 14 championship goals for Norwich last season proved. Sky Sports' Jamie Redknapp raved about his brilliant performance against Liverpool, saying he's exactly the kind of player England need, a Luka Modric, who can receive the ball off the line and take it in a no-10 role. Which isn't a bad comparison when you've played a grand total of 4 Premier League games, and there will be plenty more where that came from. Because as soon as a young Englishman shows a flash of talent, we like to stick the hype machine into overdrive. Look at Liverpool's Joe Gomez, who just pipped Maddison for man of the match last Saturday. The BBC's Garth Crooks said afterwards that "I am really sorry to put so much pressure on the lad, but he is the nearest thing I have seen to Bobby Moore for years." That's right, a 21-year-old who only began starting regularly in the Bobby Moore position for his club last month is being compared to England's greatest ever central defender. That's some pressure, Garth. But it's unlikely to be anywhere near as intense as the pressure facing Maddison when Gareth Southgate eventually gives him a call up and he shines. The Leicester lad, you see, plays in the hole. A position that gets England devotees more turned on than any mentioned in the Kama Sutra, because ever since Paul Gascoigne lit up Italia 90 from there, filling his boots has been seen as the route to England becoming world beaters. The likes of Joe Cole, Kieran Dyer and Ross the new Michael Ballack-Barkley have crumbled under the weight of being viewed as Giz heir. But the one name that should stop us going down that route again is Jack Wilshere's. If Wilshere had lived up to only half the hype he's been subjected to over the past decade, he would be leading England out at Wembley against Spain on Saturday as a well-established captain and linchpin of the national side. As a kid breaking through at Arsenal he was viewed as the new Liam Brady. And when he was 19 Paul Merson compared him to Xavi and Andreas Iniesta. Fabio Capello said that in terms of confidence and maturity, he was in the same class as Franco Baresi, Paolo Maldini and Raul. 5 years ago Steven Gerrard said he was convinced Wilshere would become a legendary England captain with more than a century of caps. After scoring a brace against Slovenia in 2015, he was likened by different pundits to Brian Robson, Frank Lampard and Gerrard. Earlier this year, Wilshere's old Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger "He is a bit of a messy type and he makes me think about Mbappe." And only last month his latest coach, Manuel Pellegrini, reiterated what Harry Redknapp said 6 years ago, that Wilshere has the same skill set as Andreas Pirlo. Which all means he's been likened to most of the great modern-day midfielders. Yet, at 26, and now playing for West Ham he looks lost and off the pace, as far away from filling England's Giz-shaped hole as Gascoigne himself is. In that context, Roy Keane's assessment in February that Wilshere is probably the most overrated player on the planet has a ring of truth about it. Not that we should blame the player for all the ludicrous comparisons that have been thrown at him as his nation cries out for a genuinely world-class creative talent. He's been what he's been, Jack Wilshere. Just as James Maddison and, after him, Phil Foden will be what they will be. The next no one. Just themselves. Let's drop the comparisons and let them grow, eh?